Welcome to Esoteric-Truth. I'm your host, Trinity, and today I will be discussing Project Bluebeam. Now, Project Bluebeam is not new, but it is very controversial. This became a more widely known project due to a man named Serge. Serge, back in the 1990s, told the world of holograms and the danger to the planet by either a staged alien invasion or the coming of a godlike figure. Now, this is not a new concept. The difference here is that he stated that this will in fact not only be false, but that we already have the technology to make it happen. I will briefly give the 4 steps of the program the way that he described it. This recording, along with video, will be of already holographic technology that we today see as new, but of course, that's a lie. Here is a brief hypnosis of Serge 4-step program to fool the world. Step 1. Engineered earthquakes and hoax discoveries. The first step in the NASA Bluebeam project concerns the breakdown or reevaluation of all archaeological knowledge. It deals with the setup with artificially created earthquakes at certain precise locations on the planet of supposedly new discoveries, which will finally explain to all people the error of all fundamental religious doctrines. The falsification of this information will be used to make all nations believe that their religious doctrines have been misunderstood for centuries and misinterpreted. Step 2. Hoax discoveries. What is important to understand in the first step is that those earthquakes will hit at different parts of the world where scientific and archaeological teachings have indicated that arcane mysteries have been buried. By those types of earthquakes, it will be possible for scientists to rediscover those arcane mysteries, which will be used to discredit all fundamental religious doctrines. This is the first preparation for the plan for humanity, because what they want to do is to destroy the beliefs of all Christian and Muslims on the planet. To do that, they need some false proof from the far past that will prove to all nations that their religions have all been misinterpreted and misunderstood. Step 3. The big space show in the sky. The second step in the NASA Bluebeam project involves a gigantic space show with 3-dimensional optical holograms and sounds. Laser projection of multiple holographic images to different parts of the world, each receiving a different image according to predominating regional national religious faith. This new God's voice will be speaking in all languages. Step 4. Universal supernatural manifestations via electronics. The fourth step concerns the universal supernatural manifestation with electronic means. It contains 3 different orientations. One is to make mankind believe that an alien or off-world invasion is about to occur at every major city on Earth in order to provoke each major nation to use its nuclear weapons in order to strike back. This way, the United Nations courts will require that all those nations which launched nuclear weapons to disarm when the invasion is shown to have been false. And how will the United Nations know the invasion was false? They would have staged it, of course. The second is to make the Christians believe that the rapture is going to occur with the supposed divine intervention of an alien or off-world civilization coming to rescue Earthlings from a savage and merciless demon. Its goal will be to dispose of all significant opposition to the implementation of the New World Order in one major stroke, actually within hours of the beginning of the Sky Show. The third orientation in the fourth step is a mixture of electronic and supernatural forces. The waves used at that time will allow supernatural forces to travel through optical fibers, coaxial cables, electronic and phone lines in order to penetrate to everyone at once through major appliances. Embedded chips will already be in place. The goal of this deals with global satanic ghosts projected all around the world in order to push all populations to the edge of hysteria and madness, to drown them into a wave of suicide, murder, and permanent psychological disorders. After the night of the 1,000 stars, worldwide populations will be ready for the new Messiah to re-establish order and peace at any cost, even at the cost of abdication of peace. Phasing out cash and independence. The techniques used in the fourth step is exactly the same used in the past in the USSR to force the people to accept communism. The same technique will be used by the United Nations to implement the New World Religion and the New World Order. A lot of people ask when this is going to happen and how will they accomplish the visions of the night of 1,000 stars and the events that will point to the days when it will begin. Now, that was Serge MONAST'S information concerning it, a very small piece. I will try to leave links to his entire readings and all of his information. Now, I wanted to mention a couple other things that have been happening that have been actually visual, and it's happened recently. Now, in May of 2005, another spectacular mirage city seen by thousands of residents that appeared after a heavy rain off the shore of Penglai City in eastern China's Shandong province. During the 4-hour appearance, thousands of residents in Penglai City saw not only a city, the residents witnessed bustling cars as well as crowds of people, all clearly visible. Understand what I'm saying? That place didn't exist. It didn't exist. You could drive right through it. It was either the comparison to a parallel world or a holographic image, which people are just, even though thousands of people saw it, there's a lot of debate on what that was all about. And of course, the famous and often repeated more than one speech from Ronald Reagan. And this is what he said. When you stop to think that we're all God's children, wherever we may live in the world, I couldn't help but to say to him, just think how easy his task and mine might be in these meetings that we held if suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species from another planet outside in the universe. We'd forget all the little local differences that we have between our countries, and we would find out once and for all that we really all are human beings here on this earth together. This is something that he has said publicly and on many occasions, and it says a lot if you think about it. There are no minced words here or corrections later in the comments. He knew what he was saying and why he was saying it. Now, with that said, and if you still don't believe this, there is another more famous and yet less talked about person by the name of Wernher von Braun. Here's a little bit about him. One of the most famous names from the beginning of the American rocket and missile program after World War II is Wernher von Braun. With the defeat of Germany and Japan in 1945, after the United States dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Dr. von Braun and 126 other German rocket scientists were brought to the United States under a government project called Paperclip. They were based at Fort Bliss, Texas, and their work was focused at the White Sands Missile Range north of Fort Bliss in southern New Mexico. Dr. von Braun became famous for his expertise and his visionary goal to expand man's knowledge through the exploration of space. His pioneering work led to the development of the Explorer satellites, the Jupiter and Jupiter-C rockets, Pershing, the Redstone rocket, Saturn rockets, and Skylab, the world's first space station. Additionally, his determination to go where no man has gone before led America's first landing on the moon in 1969 during the John F. Kennedy administration. In 1970, NASA asked Dr. von Braun to move to Washington, D.C. to head up the strategic planning effort for the government space agency. But in less than 2 years, he decided to retire from NASA and went to work for Fairchild Industries of Germantown, Maryland, where he met a 6th grade school teacher named Carol Rosen. She was famous for producing a student studying on Spaceship Earth project for her school classes. Dr. von Braun asked Carol to join him at Fairfield Industries to help him create a ban of weapons in space. As President Eisenhower had warned about the threat of the military-industrial complex to America's future, Dr. Wernher warned that space should be kept free from intrusion by that same military-industrial power. Carol left her teaching and went to work for von Braun in 1974. He was her mentor until he died in Alexandria, Virginia on June 16, 1977. Afterward, Carol Rosen has persisted for nearly 30 years in trying to carry out Dr. von Braun's request to get weapons banned from space. She is now president of the Institute for Cooperation in Space and of the Space Preservation Trust Foundation. Its statement of purpose: to preserve the cooperative, peaceful uses of space for the benefit of all humankind by prohibiting the basing of weapons in space and by prohibiting the use of weapons to destroy or damage objects in space that are in orbit and for other purposes. You can find her interview at Bombshell Interview with Dr. Carol Rosen about her work with the late German scientist Dr. Wernher von Braun. Von Braun anticipated terrorists, asteroids, and ETs on America's enemy list. Carol Rosen has been warning the masses for decades, based on the work of the man who was pretty much the founder and originator of how we see, travel, and understand space, and his last warnings are ignored even today. So thanks for listening, and please share your thoughts on our Facebook and YouTube page at Esoteric-Truth Radio. Until next time.